Friday, July 6th. Boy, the gods are sure intervening in Carl Ray's life. I swear, Athena must have come down and taken pity on the poor creature. But before I tell about Carl Ray, I'll tell about Beth Anne, as old black-fingered night, grandfather of day, ha ha ha, thinks, O muse, creeps over the sky. I took Tommy and Dougie for a walk today, and we stopped at Beth Anne's. Even though she didn't seem real thrilled to see two little kids with me, she gave them some Coke and potato chips, and we all went out into her backyard. While Tommy and Dougie climbed the apple tree, she and I actually talked for a change. I mean, it's been a while. When I asked her about Derek, she acted as if they had been married for about 100 years. She was so matter-of-fact about it all. Oh, yes, she said. We're still going out. He's over here all the time. My parents are very fond of him. Have you ever smelled canoe? That's the kind of aftershave he wears. It's divine. Oh, there she goes again. Judy says that's what all the college guys wear. I'm going to buy him some more for his birthday. That's next week. We're going to go out to dinner first. On his birthday, that is. And then back to his house for a little get-together. Get-together? With his parents and grandparents. They're such a nice family. I think I've met just about everyone in his family. His parents, they asked me to call them Betty and Bill. His brother, Gregory, of course. That's Judy's boyfriend. His grandparents, they asked me to call them Nona and Papa. His Aunt Jean and Uncle Roy. His Aunt Catherine and Uncle Bob. I think that's about it. Oh, and his best friend, whose name was Jerry, and Jerry's girlfriend, Molly. We've doubled with them a few times. Not too many times, though, because Derek doesn't really like Molly. She talks so much. Molly talks so much. Have you ever heard anyone go on like Beth Anne does? How does she think of all those things to say? I am interested in what Beth Anne does, but really, should I be expected to care what Derek's grandparents want her to call them? Or what Derek's best friend's girlfriend name is? But I did pretend to be interested. You have to suffer through a few dozen of those things with Beth Anne in the hopes that she'll finally get to something meaty. I had to prompt her a little. So, I tried. What do you and Derek do when you go out? Oh, lots of things. We go to the movies and sometimes for a hamburger. And you already told me all that. I mean, what do you do, like, afterward? She gave me one of those funny smiles that meant, oh, I get it. And then she looked around to see if Dougie and Tommy were near enough to hear. They weren't. She said, well, it is sort of personal. Beth Anne Bartles, I said, I am your best friend, or at least I thought I was. And if you can't tell me, I put on this real hurt look. Well, it's just that Derek wouldn't like it if I talked about us like that. And she glanced at me, but I was still doing my hurt look. So she said, but I know I can trust you. Well, I hope so. Okay then, but promise. I promise. Geez, what do I have to do? Swear on a Bible? Okay, don't get upset. Let's see. We talk a lot. I rolled my eyes. Well, we do. He's a very interesting person. You know, he tells me all kinds of things. Like about Beth Anne. Right. You don't want to know about our conversations. You just want to know all the sordid details. If anyone else had said this, I probably would have been mad. But she was being so ridiculous, and of course I wanted to know all the sordid details. So I just fell over laughing, and then she fell over laughing, and we were finally getting back to being good friends. Or so I thought. Then I told her how much it had been bothering me that she hardly ever talked to me anymore, and then when she did, all she could do was moon over Derek and talk like Megan and Christy. Divine and truly wonderful and all that. It felt good to tell her, and fortunately, she didn't even seem to mind. She just laughed about it and said she was sorry and that she hadn't meant to sound so drippy and all. But then I really blew it. I don't know what came over my brain, but I guess I thought I could go on being 100% honest. And I said, well, maybe I was a little jealous. Maybe I was. When Maggie told me that she saw you and Derek at the party and that you were hanging all over him and that he was sort of all of a sudden, I could tell by the look on her face that I had gone too far. Oh, boy, did she get mad. She straightened out her little mouth so fast into this little flat little line and scrunched up her eyes and jumped up and said, God, Mary Lou, who do you think you are anyway? I started to apologize, but she wouldn't let me talk at all. I was not hanging all over Derek. Believe me, I don't have to do that. And Derek is not a jerk. Don't shake your head. I know that's what you were going to say. You make me sick, and we're not best friends. And you could take your little brat brothers and get out of my yard. And she ran into the house and slammed the screen door and then slammed the other door, and I heard the locks click. Beth Anne is so darn touchy. Who does she think she is, anyway? It makes me mad just thinking about it now. I hate when someone yells at you and doesn't even give you a chance to talk. I really hate that. Grr. So, now about Carl Ray. I just don't believe this. And apparently, Dad doesn't either. Because when he got back from talking to Carl Ray to see Mr. Biggers, he was shaking his head back and forth, and Carl Ray was looking sort of stunned. Everybody started jumping all over, saying, what happened? What did Mr. Biggers say? What did he say? And Dennis said, is Carl Ray going to jail? And then Tommy started crying again because I think he actually likes Carl Ray. And he started screaming, no jail, no jail. And finally, Dad got everybody quiet and made us sit down to dinner before he would tell us anything. Here's what happened. Mr. Biggers told Carl Ray that someone wanted to give Carl Ray some money. Mr. Biggers was not at liberty to divulge the name of this person who was throwing his money away. This sounds just like Great Expectations, if you ask me. Great Expectations is a terrific book. It's about a poor little boy who inherits some money, and he thinks it's from this weird rich lady who sits around in this cobwebby room all day. But it turns out that the money is from some spooky convict who the boy gave some bread to when the boy was little. But back to Carl Ray. We all just about keeled over when we heard about Mr. Biggers telling Carl Ray someone wanted to give him some money. It was chaos in our house because everybody started asking Carl Ray a million questions. Gosh, Carl Ray, who could the person be? How much? How much you get? Who's the person? Is it a lot of money? No jail. Who do you think it could be? Yeah, who is it? How much money has he given you? Is he a millionaire? No jail. And on and on. Old Carl Ray hardly had a chance to get a word in. And finally, Dad yelled, Quiet! Will you all just be quiet? And when we finally all shut up, Dad said, Carl Ray does not know who the person is. We've been through this already. He asked Mr. Biggers to tell him the name, but Mr. Biggers can't do that. Apparently, whoever is giving Carl Ray this money wants to remain anonymous. Mom said, That's very curious, isn't it, Sam? Dad just nodded. Boy, Dennis said, how lucky can a guy get? I wish this person would give me some money. And Dougie said, how much, Carl Ray? And Dad said, Carl Ray, you don't have to tell them if you don't want to. It's none of their business. Boy, here we are providing a hotel for the old prince, and Dad doesn't think it's any of our business. But Carl Ray just shrugged and said, I don't care if they know. And Dennis said, how much? And Carl Ray said to Dad, you tell him, I'll forget. He forgets? Lord. He gets $5,000 right now. God! Don't say God. Jeez. Wow. Lord. No jail. And the rest of the money, there's more? God. Don't say God. The rest of the money is being put in a trust fund to provide for Carl Ray's college education. What college? What college? I didn't know you wanted to go to college, Carl Ray. I had to admit, I was thinking, what college myself? Oh, be quiet, all of you. Give Carl Ray a chance to think, will you? Well, did you want to go to college, Carl Ray? Carl Ray just shrugged. What if he doesn't want to go to college? Yeah, can he use that money for like something else? Like a television or something? No, it's only for college. That's a condition on the rest of the money. If Carl Ray doesn't want to go to college, the money goes somewhere else, I guess. Where's it go? Could I have it? I don't know where it goes. No, you can't have it. It's all rather mysterious if you ask me. All I know is what Mr. Biggers told us, and I don't want any of you repeating this to anyone. It is no one's business but Carl Ray's, and Mr. Biggers asked that we keep this within the family. Well, everyone was so excited. All of us kids spent the whole rest of the evening deciding what we would do if we got $5,000. And we also kept trying to guess who gave Carl Ray the money. We decided it was either some weird old lady who got Carl Ray mixed up with someone else, or maybe it was some long-lost uncle who had so much money he didn't know what to do with it. Or maybe it was some strange old convict who Carl Ray met just once, and maybe Carl Ray gave him some bread or something. You just never know about these things. Carl Ray doesn't seem too excited, but he does seem worried. I can't imagine why, unless he thinks maybe it's a mistake, and tomorrow Mr. Biggers will call and say the person changed his mind or got the wrong Carl Ray or something. Naked Odysseus. Book 6 of the Odyssey is all about some ladies doing their laundry and Odysseus coming naked out of the sea. And since he's been 20 days thrashing about in the water, he looks pretty awful. But he's real polite and coherent and asks them to move away while he washes because he's ashamed of being naked. Then, with a little help and anointing from Athena, he emerges looking terrific, like a god and all. As usual, even though he's a total stranger, they all welcome him and give him clothes and everything.